Did my family really trick me into wasting 4 months of my life, just so they could have fun without me? If you're enjoying this story, please hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe so you never miss our stories. Also, drop a comment telling us where you're watching from because we absolutely love hearing from you. My name is Helen, and I'm 66 years old. I've been alone for 8 years now, ever since my husband Richard died suddenly. One day he was laughing at the dinner table, the next day he was gone. A heart attack took him so fast we didn't even get to say goodbye. But I survived. I raised my 2 children by myself. I worked as a teacher for 35 years. I thought when I finally retired at 60, life would be mine again. I thought I could rest, travel, read all those books I never had time for, maybe take painting classes like I always dreamed. I was so wrong. Instead of resting, I became everyone's helper. My son Daniel calls me every morning. Mom, can you pick up the kids from school? Sarah has a meeting. Of course, I say. I always say yes. My daughter Lisa texts me at night. Mom, can you watch the house tomorrow? I have to work late. Sure, sweetheart, I reply. I always reply. I cook for 12 people every Sunday. I clean houses that aren't mine. I raise grandchildren while their parents go to parties, trips, and restaurants without me. My savings account gets smaller every month because I'm always buying gifts, paying for treats, covering little emergencies that nobody ever pays me back for. But I told myself it was love. I told myself this was what good mothers do. They sacrifice. They give. They never complain. Then came Daniel's birthday. 4 months before his 38th birthday, Daniel called me with excitement in his voice. Mom, I want to do something really special this year. Something big. Will you help me plan it? My heart filled with joy. Finally, he wanted to include me in something important. Of course, honey, I said. Tell me what you need. He wanted everything. A huge party at my house because it's bigger than his apartment. Decorations everywhere. A special menu with his favorite foods from childhood. Games for the kids. Music. A cake that looked like a castle. He sent me a list that was 3 pages long. I spent 4 months working on it. Every single day, I did something for that party. I called bakeries. I compared prices. I made decorations by hand because buying them was too expensive. I tested recipes. I cleaned my house until it sparkled. I used money from my pension, from my small savings, from the emergency fund I promised myself I'd never touch. Sarah, Daniel's wife, would call me with new ideas. Mom, can you also make those little sandwiches? Mom, can you get flowers for every table? Mom, Daniel really wants those special napkins with his name on them. I said yes to everything. I wanted it to be perfect. Lisa helped sometimes, but she was always busy with work. Just do your best, Mom, she'd say. You're so good at this stuff. The party was supposed to be on Saturday night at 7 o'clock. I spent the whole day before cooking. I woke up at 5 in the morning to start preparing the food. My hands hurt from cutting vegetables. My back ached from standing so long. But I smiled because I imagined Daniel's face when he saw everything. Saturday came. I decorated my entire house. Balloons in every corner. Streamers across the ceiling. Tables covered with beautiful cloths I borrowed from the church. I set out all the food on nice trays. I made sure everything looked like a magazine picture. I put on my best dress, the blue one I saved for special occasions. I did my hair. I even put on makeup, which I almost never do anymore. I looked at myself in the mirror and thought, tonight will be wonderful. 7 o'clock came. Nobody arrived. I waited by the door, listening for cars. Nothing. 8 o'clock. I checked my phone. No messages. No calls. 9 o'clock. I called Daniel. It went to voicemail. I called Lisa. Voicemail. I called Sarah. Voicemail. 10 o'clock. The food was getting cold. I started to worry. Had something terrible happened? Was everyone okay? My mind filled with awful thoughts. An accident. A hospital. Something horrible. 11 o'clock. I was shaking. I called everyone again and again. Nothing. Midnight. I sat alone in my decorated house, surrounded by food nobody would eat, wearing a dress nobody would see. I felt like a fool. Tears ran down my face, ruining the makeup I'd so carefully put on. I finally went to bed at 2 in the morning, my heart broken into pieces. Sunday morning, I woke up exhausted. My phone had one notification. A voice message from Daniel, sent at 1 in the morning. I pressed play with trembling hands.
Mom.
Daniel's voice was loud and happy. I could hear laughter and music in the background. Sarah's voice. Lisa's voice. Children screaming with joy. Mom, don't be upset, okay? We're in Florida. We rented this amazing beach house, and we're having the best time. We just thought you might feel lonely planning a party all by yourself, so we wanted to keep you busy with something. It was for your own good, really. You always say you feel useless when you're not helping with something. So, we gave you a project. Wasn't that nice of us? We'll see you when we get back next week. Oh, and thanks for all the effort. I'm sure it looked great. Then he laughed. They all laughed. I played the message 3 times, thinking I must have heard it wrong. But no. Every time, the words were the same. They tricked me. They made me spend 4 months, all my energy, all my money, all my time planning a party that was never going to happen. They made me wait alone for 5 hours dressed up like a fool. They did it on purpose. To keep me busy. To keep me out of the way while they had fun without me. And they thought it was funny. I sat on my couch, staring at the balloons that were already starting to sag. The food was ruined now. All that work, all that money, all that love I poured into every detail. Something inside me broke. But it wasn't my heart this time. It was something else. It was the part of me that always said yes. The part that always forgave. The part that always put everyone else first. That part died right there on my couch, surrounded by party decorations for a party that never existed. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't call them back. I just sat very still and started thinking. They wanted to keep me busy? Fine. I would show them what busy really meant. They thought this was funny. I would show them what funny really looked like. I stood up, walked to my bedroom, and opened my laptop. I had 1 week before they came home. 1 week to change everything. And I was going to use every single minute. Monday morning, I woke up with a clear mind. No tears. No sadness. Just a calm feeling that I hadn't felt in years. I knew exactly what I needed to do. First, I called my bank. Hello, I said to the kind woman who answered. I need to open a new account, and I need to transfer all my money there today. The woman asked if everything was okay. Everything is perfect, I told her. I'm just making some changes. By noon, every penny I had was in a new account that only I could access. My children had always known my old account information because I trusted them. Because I'm their mother. Because I never thought they would use it against me. But now, that account was empty except for $10. Next, I called the phone company. I need a new phone number, I said. The man on the phone seemed confused. But I was very clear. I don't want anyone to have my new number unless I give it to them myself. He set it up in 20 minutes. Then I did something I never thought I would do. I called Daniel and Lisa and left them each a voicemail. Hi, sweetie, I said in my cheerful mom voice. I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to be very busy for a while. I've decided to take some time for myself. I won't be available to babysit or help out like usual. I hope you understand. I'll call you when I have time. Love you. I turned off my old phone and put it in a drawer. Tuesday, I went to my doctor. I hadn't been to see her in 2 years because I was always too busy helping everyone else. Dr. Martinez looked at me with concern. Helen, when was your last checkup? She asked. I couldn't remember. She ran some tests and told me I needed to take better care of myself.
You're exhausted, she said. You need rest.
Real rest. I'm going to rest, I promised her.
Starting right now.
Wednesday, I did something wild. I went to a travel agency. The young man behind the desk smiled at me. Where would you like to go? He asked.
Somewhere beautiful, I said.
Somewhere I've never been. Somewhere far away. He showed me pictures of beaches, mountains, and cities. My eyes stopped on one photo. It was a small village in Italy with colorful houses and the bluest water I'd ever seen. That one, I said. When can I leave? He checked his computer. There's a spot available this Friday, he said. It's a 2-week trip with a small group of travelers. Includes hotels, some meals, and tours. I looked at the price. It was expensive. It was more money than I'd spent on myself in 10 years. The old Helen would have said no. The old Helen would have saved that money in case Daniel or Lisa needed something. The old Helen would have felt guilty. But the old Helen was gone. I'll take it, I said. Thursday, I packed my suitcase. I put in summer dresses I'd never worn, sandals that were still in their box, a hat I bought 5 years ago and never used. I felt like a young girl getting ready for an adventure. I felt alive. I also went shopping. I bought new clothes, a nice camera, and a journal to write in. Every time I paid for something, I waited for the guilt to come. It never did. Instead, I felt lighter. Friday morning, I woke up early and called a taxi to take me to the airport. As I locked my door, I looked back at my house one last time. The decorations from the fake party were still up. I had left them there on purpose. Let them see what they did, I thought. I didn't tell anyone I was leaving. At the airport, I bought a coffee and a magazine. I sat at my gate and watched people rushing around. For the first time in 8 years, nobody needed me. Nobody was calling me. Nobody was asking me to do something. I was completely free. The plane ride was long, but I didn't mind. I watched movies, read my book, and ate the little snacks they gave us. When we landed in Italy, the sun was setting, and everything looked golden and beautiful. The hotel was small and cozy. My room had a window that looked out at the ocean. I opened it and breathed in the salty air. I could hear waves crashing and people laughing somewhere below. I smiled so big my cheeks hurt. That night, I had dinner with the other people in my travel group. There was an older couple from Canada, a woman my age from Australia, and 2 sisters from Germany. We talked and laughed, and nobody asked me to do anything for them. Nobody needed me to cook or clean or babysit. They just wanted to know about me. Who was I? What did I like? What were my dreams? I realized I didn't know how to answer those questions anymore. I'd forgotten who Helen was. I'd been mom for so long that I'd disappeared. But now I was going to find out. Saturday in Italy was magical. We walked through the village, ate fresh pasta, and visited old churches. I took so many pictures my camera ran out of space. Every moment felt like a gift. Sunday, we went on a boat ride. The water was so clear I could see fish swimming below. The sun was warm on my face. I closed my eyes and felt peace wash over me like the waves. I didn't think about Daniel or Lisa once. Monday morning, I woke up to 17 missed calls on my new phone. Wait, how did they get this number? Then I remembered. The bank must have needed an emergency contact, and I'd listed Lisa out of habit. I didn't listen to the voicemails. I didn't call back. Instead, I sent one simple text message to both of them. I'm very busy right now. I'll contact you when I can. Then I turned off my phone again and went to breakfast. The texts and calls kept coming, but I ignored them. Each day in Italy, I felt stronger. I laughed more. I made friends. I discovered that I loved painting after taking a class in the village. I found out I was good at speaking Italian when I tried ordering food without help. I was becoming Helen again. Not Daniel's mom. Not Lisa's helper. Just Helen. The 2 weeks flew by like a dream. On my last day in Italy, I sat by the ocean and wrote in my journal. I wrote about everything. The pain of the fake party. The freedom I felt now. The new life I was building. I am not going back to who I was, I wrote. I am never going to be that person again. When I got on the plane home, I felt different. Stronger. Braver. Ready. I landed on a Wednesday afternoon. My phone exploded with messages the second I turned it on. 47 missed calls. 32 text messages. 5 voicemails. I listened to one voicemail from Daniel. His voice wasn't laughing anymore. Mom, where are you? We've been trying to reach you. For 2 weeks. This isn't funny. Lisa is worried sick. Call us immediately. I smiled and deleted it. I sent them both one message. I'm home now. I'll be in touch soon. Then I drove to my house, made myself a cup of tea, and sat in my favorite chair. They would be coming soon. I knew that. They would want answers. They would want explanations. They would want the old Helen back. But she was gone forever. And I couldn't wait to tell them. They arrived exactly 23 minutes after I sent that text message. I heard the cars pull up at the same time. Daniel's van and Lisa's expensive sedan.
Doors slammed.
Footsteps rushed up my walkway. Then angry knocking on my door.
Mom.
Open up. It was Daniel's voice, loud and demanding. I took a slow sip of my tea. I was still wearing my comfortable clothes from the plane. My suitcase was still by the door, covered in stickers from Italy. The knocking got louder. Mom, we know you're in there. Lisa shouted. We need to talk to you right now. I stood up slowly, walked to the door, and opened it. Both of my children stood there, red-faced and angry. Sarah was behind Daniel, holding their youngest child. Lisa's husband Mark was behind her, looking uncomfortable. The other grandchildren were in the cars. Before I could say hello, Daniel pushed past me into the house. What is going on? He demanded. Where have you been? Do you know how worried we've been? Lisa followed him in, her eyes scanning the room. The party decorations were still up, now sad and dusty. Her face went pale. Mom, what happened here? I closed the door and walked back to my chair. I sat down and picked up my tea. Would anyone like something to drink? I asked calmly. Daniel's face turned red. Are you serious right now? We've been trying to reach you for 2 weeks. You changed your phone number. You emptied your bank account. We thought something terrible happened to you. I looked at him with steady eyes. Something terrible did happen to me, I said quietly. But it happened before I left. Lisa sat down on the couch, still staring at the decorations. Mom, she said slowly. Why are there birthday decorations up? Daniel's birthday was a month ago. I smiled, but it wasn't a warm smile. Yes, I said.
It was.
I was here for his birthday. Were you? The room went silent. Daniel's face changed. His anger faded into confusion, then understanding, then something that might have been shame. Mom, he started. I held up my hand. Let me tell you where I was for the last 2 weeks, I said. I was in Italy. I stayed in a beautiful village by the ocean. I made new friends. I took a painting class. I learned some Italian. I ate wonderful food. I watched the sunset every night. And I didn't think about any of you even once.
Sarah gasped.
You went to Italy? By yourself? Yes, I said. By myself. Because I learned something important. I learned that I'm allowed to have a life. I'm allowed to spend my own money on myself. I'm allowed to say no. Daniel's voice got loud again. Mom, this is ridiculous. We need you. Who's going to watch the kids? Who's going to help Sarah when she has appointments? Who's going to cook Sunday dinners? I stood up, and suddenly I felt 10 feet tall. You are, I said firmly. You're going to watch your own children. Sarah is going to handle her own appointments. And you're all going to cook your own dinners. But Mom, Lisa started, her voice shaking. We didn't mean to hurt you. I turned to her. Didn't you? I asked. You made me spend 4 months planning a party that never existed. You made me spend my savings. You made me wait alone in this house for 5 hours thinking something terrible had happened to you. And then you laughed about it. You said it was to keep me busy, so I wouldn't feel useless. Tears started rolling down Lisa's cheeks. We thought it was funny, she whispered. We thought you'd understand. Understanding hit me then. They really did think it was okay. They really thought my time, my money, my feelings didn't matter. Because I taught them that. By always saying yes. By always putting them first. By disappearing into the role of mom and forgetting to be Helen. I sat back down and looked at each of them. I love you, I said. I will always love you. But I'm done being your servant. I'm done dropping everything whenever you call. I'm done spending my retirement raising your children while you live your lives. Daniel tried to interrupt, but I kept talking. From now on, I said, my voice strong and clear, things are going to be different. If you want me to babysit, you ask me at least 1 week in advance. And I might say no. If you want me to help with something, you ask nicely, and you respect my answer. If you want to see me, you make plans like you would with any other person you care about. And you never, ever trick me again. Lisa was crying hard now. Mom, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize how much we were using you. Sarah spoke up for the first time.
Helen, she said softly.
We've been terrible to you. I've been terrible to you. I always just assumed you'd be available because you always were. Daniel slumped down on the couch next to Lisa. He put his head in his hands. Mom, I heard the voicemail. I heard myself laughing about tricking you. I sounded like a horrible person. I am a horrible person. You're not horrible, I said. But you've been thoughtless. Both of you. And I let you be that way because I never stood up for myself. Mark finally spoke from the doorway. Mrs. Helen, he said. For what it's worth, I told Lisa you deserved better. I'm glad you took that trip. You look happy. I smiled at him. Thank you, Mark. I am happy. Happier than I've been in years. We sat in silence for a while. Then Lisa got up and walked over to me. She knelt down in front of my chair and took my hands.
Mom, she said.
I am so sorry. Can you forgive us? I looked at her tear-stained face, then at Daniel, who was watching with red eyes. Eventually, I said, but first, you need to show me that things are really going to change. Daniel stood up. What do you want us to do? He asked. I thought about it. First, I said, you're going to take down these decorations and clean up this mess. Together. Then, you're going to pay me back for all the money I spent on that fake party. And finally, you're going to give me space. Real space. No calling every day. No assuming I'm available. Treat me like a person, not a tool. They both nodded. There's one more thing, I added. I'm going back to Italy in 3 months. I made friends there. I'm taking another painting class. And I'm staying for a whole month this time. You're going for a month? Daniel asked, shocked. Yes, I said.
And you're going to be happy for me.
You're going to ask to see my pictures when I get back. You're going to be interested in my life, not just what I can do for yours. Lisa hugged me tight. We will, Mom, she promised. I promise we will. Over the next few weeks, things slowly changed. Daniel and Sarah hired a babysitter for the days they needed help. Lisa started actually asking me if I had time before requesting favors. They paid me back the money in installments. Sunday dinners became potluck. Everyone brought something. I wasn't cooking for 12 people anymore. And slowly, they started asking me about my life. About my painting. About my new friends in Italy.
About me.
3 months later, I went back to Italy just like I planned. This time, when I left, Daniel and Lisa drove me to the airport. They hugged me goodbye and told me to have a wonderful time. Lisa slipped an envelope in my hand. Don't open it until you're on the plane, she said. On the plane, I opened it. Inside was a check for $500 and a note. For spending money in Italy. We love you, Mom. Go have adventures. Love, Daniel and Lisa. I cried, but they were happy tears. I spent a month in Italy painting, laughing, exploring, and being Helen. When I came back, I had hundreds of photos and so many stories to tell. My children met me at the airport with flowers and big smiles. Tell us everything, Lisa said. And I did. I'm 71 now, 5 years after that terrible fake party. My life is completely different. I travel twice a year. I take art classes. I volunteer at an animal shelter. I have coffee with friends. I read books. I live my life. I still see my children and grandchildren, but now it's on my terms. Now they respect my time.
Now they appreciate me.
And most importantly, I appreciate myself. Because I learned that it's never too late to stop being who everyone else needs you to be and start being who you really are. It's never too late to say no. It's never too late to choose yourself. Sometimes people need to lose you to learn how to value you. And sometimes you need to lose yourself to find yourself again. I found myself in Italy in painting classes, in saying no, in choosing me. And I'm never going back. If this story touched your heart or made you think about someone in your life, please share it with them. Don't forget to like and subscribe so we can bring you more stories that matter. And tell us in the comments, have you ever had to stand up for yourself like Helen did? We read every single comment, and we love hearing your stories. Thank you for being here with us today.